It's time for Comedy Central Live at the Savanna Virtual Comedy Bar. Every sip counts to help Savanna fund the funny.
Everyone knows that if you want to become a successful somebody, you have to move to Joburg, the city of gold. Well, I wanted to become an actress with all the fame and fortune. So in 2016, I packed my bags and I moved to Johannesburg. Got myself an agent. I've been attending castings upon castings and rubbing shoulders with the stars. 4 years later, here I am. Rich. In exposure and happiness. So please, allow me to expose our first headliner, Nick. Rabinowitz. Nick.
So the pandemic has made human beings all over the planet obsessed with our health and mortality. And the reality is that for most of us, COVID is not gonna kill us. Something else will, and it could be something unexpected. Like those 42-year-old guys who go for a run on a Saturday morning, 0% body fat, no bad cholesterol, and then bang, out of nowhere, they get hit by a flying air conditioner. And a friend of mine said to me, listen, Nick, if you're taking your health seriously, you should know what diseases you could be prone to other than COVID. And the only way to find out is by taking a DNA test. And I said, how gullible and neurotic and paranoid do you have to be to buy into this latest health fad? And so about a week later, the kit arrived. And guys, they've put billions of dollars into DNA R&D, and then it arrives and it's just basically an earbud from clicks. And what you're supposed to do is take the earbud out and swab the inside of your cheeks. Now, make sure you don't clean your ear before your cheek because it's going to taste gross. And then basically you put that back in the envelope, send it off to the company, and the scientists remove your genetic material. And then I don't know what they do with the earbud. I think they just flush it down the toilet. It goes away into a river, probably lands up in the Indian Ocean, and then gets picked up by the Benguela current and deposited off the coast of Somalia, where a sea turtle ingests it up its nostril and then dies from asphyxiation. So there are negative side effects associated with DNA testing, but on the whole, it's very positive. And then about a month later, you get the results. And the results are like 400 pages long, and they give you a doctor to interpret the results. And in my case, it was Dr. Krista from Centurion. And she phoned me up and said, Nick, I'm very concerned about your DNA results. And I said, what? She said, well, let's start with the liver function is compromised. And I said, how? And she said, well, you can't detoxify certain foods. For example, you go to a braai, you're going to eat that lamb choppy that's a little bit charred. You won't be able to detoxify the charred lamb choppy. You will have to pop like an essential that you would normally take for a babbelas. It's like a 2-in-1 special, sort of. But that's because of your gene, the MTHFKR gene. And I said, what does MTHFKR stand for? And she said, I don't know, I call it a motherfucker, but it's probably like a Latin thing. Secondly, I said, yes. She said, secondly, your cholesterol, very, very high. I said, I know about the cholesterol. My dad died of a heart attack. I'm on the blood thinners. But doctor, can you tell me, does that mean I won't die of a heart attack, but I might die from a paper cut? And she said, sorry? And I said, nothing. And she said, and finally, you are under-methylated. And I said, is that why I've not been in high spirits for such a long time? Or is that the pandemic? And she said, sorry, what? And I said, nothing. She said, you're very low in vitamin B12. And I said, I've been taking the vitamin B supplements. And she said, orally is not sufficient. You need straight shots. And I said, that's what I've been telling my wife. And she said, sorry, what? And I said, you heard me. And she said, click, doot. that was the end of the call. And the next day I thought, I better get that vitamin B shot. So I went down to the local pharmacy to see Sister Patsy. And you have to buy the vitamin B in a vial called Neurobian. And I got the prescription. And while I was waiting to see the nurse, there was an elderly gentleman next to me, and he said, well, what are you here for? And I said, well, I'm here for the vitamin B shot, but also I've also got very high cholesterol. And he said, I've also got high cholesterol. What are you on? And I said, I'm on a statin. And he said, you got to be very careful about the side effects of the statin. It's horrendous. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, I've had 12 car accidents in the last 3 months. And you know, all of them before 9 o'clock in the morning. Half of them I crashed into my own gate. And I said, well, didn't you get tested after the third accident, for example? And he said, I've always been a bad driver. I just assumed it was that. But you know, the last one, I actually crashed into the back of a taxi on Hendrik Verwoerd. And I said, do you mean Malibongwe? And he said, what? And I said, nothing. He said, yeah. And I got out to inspect the damage. I fell asleep on the pavement. And I said, and then did you get tested? Yeah, they did a battery of tests, and you know, it came back, they found nothing. Eventually, I self-diagnosed. I was like, and? He said, yeah, I realized I was taking my hypertensives last thing at night and my sleeping pills first thing in the morning. At which point Sister Patsy came out and said, next please, and I went in to see the nurse, and she said, what are you in for? And I said, I'm here for the vitamin B injection, and by the way, why do you sound exactly like the guy outside? And she said, sorry, what? And I said, nothing. She said, do you have the vials? I said, yes, I've got the vials. I handed over the vials. She said, has it just come out of the fridge? I said, I assume so. She said, well, it's too cold to give you the injection now. It's going to sting. I'll have to just warm it up under my armpit. She then popped it in under her armpit and said, let's just chat for a couple of minutes while it warms up. I said, okay. She said, are you the comedian, Nick Rabinowitz? I said, yes. She said, are you Jewish? I said, yes. She said, are you practicing? I said, I'm a bit rusty. And then she said, and I'll never forget this is 40 seconds into the consultation, she goes, I believe it's very lucky to screw a Jew. And I'm like, do you mean sexually or financially? She says, no, sexually. My ex-husband was Jewish. And I said, well, that makes you Jewish by penetration. And she said, sorry, what? And I said, nothing. And she said, do you have kids? I said, yeah, how old? I said, well, they're like 11, 8, and 3. And she said, you must enjoy them while they're young. When they get to be teenagers, they become a f***ing nightmare. What? Yeah, the 15-year-old came home the other day with a bank bag and some green substance in it. I didn't know what it was. I took a picture, I WhatsApped it to the school council. I said, what is this? And he said, it's marijuana. And I said, what should I do? He said, flush it down the toilet. I thought to myself, what a f***ing waste. So I googled how to roll a marijuana cigarette on the interwebs, and they told me you need what they call a Rizla, a rolling paper. I didn't have that, so I googled what to do if you don't have the rolling paper. They said use the back page of your Bible, one of the blank pages, because it's got the same consistency as what they call a Rizla. I rolled a humongous joint. They said you must hotbox it. I didn't know what that was. I thought that's when your cookie got aroused in the 1980s. Turns out you have to smoke it in a very confined space. So I called my son. I said, this is your punishment. You're going to smoke this with your mother in this toilet. We got halfway through. I told him, this is actually going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. But at that point, I was talking to the dog. You won't listen. You know, it's very difficult. The next week, I had to discipline him with a bong. And then she turns to me and says, would you like it in the bum? And at that point, I said, I don't think my sexual orientation is really relevant to this conversation. And she said, no, the vitamin B shot. And I said, well, yes, I mean, yeah. Live every day as if it was your last. And I said that because I was thinking of the old guy outside. But also, I was thinking of the last trip I did with my wife on our anniversary when we went away for the weekend. And I said, babe, how do you live your life as if every day was your last? I mean, if this was your last day, what would you try that you've never tried before? And she said, origami. What would you try? And I said, anal. And then she said, well, you're not going to believe this, but I've ordered a strap-on from Dr. Eve's online sex shop, and it's coming the day before Christmas. And I said, we don't celebrate Christmas in this family. which was actually a lie. I've celebrated Christmas my entire life. In fact, there were very little signs that we were Jewish growing up. We were celebrating Christmas with the neighbors, we had small straightish noses, and we were not financially well off. We were basically poor whites, but we were white, so we could afford to be poor. There was just one obvious clue. At the urinal, I would often look down at my friend Peter Ainsley and think to myself, why does his have a turtleneck and mine looks like an inquisitive one-eyed meerkat?
Being a famous actress and all, people always ask me, Stella, have you been in movies? And the simple answer really is yes. I've been in movies where I had to die. I know. Let's see if Sihle Vesi can beat that.
No down. Dumelang ka taxi hle. Driver, o motle jwang ha o le so? Taxi ke bokae?
17 rand, 85 cent.
Bathong, what's the 85 cents for now? 2. Re bon. 4 3 2 4. Ai ke tla ikgon ke ntho tse nyane.
About 5 ke lanto.
5? Ha abathong. Ha thata dula ka 4.
70 rand 4.
Nonke ngayen wesisibuti. Amara bathong, why ditla ka tšhelete e fase mo taxing? A ke re di-driver di dula di le jwetsa every time, especially o saying why ditla ka di-100 rand? Nna ke nke ka i-change. They still change 100 rand 5 lapho. Abuti kopa o eme hanyane. Change ya hao ya tla ntse ke counter mo tšhelete ya lona e fase.
Yabona nje mina into engifuna kuwena 255 rand wami bese ngiyazibona ukuthi nenza njani.
I always do that, driver. Mina nginikeza udrive imali yakhe kuqala. Ukhona umunye ushota nge-change. I-change 100 rand 5. 4. Ahle bathong. Utsho unale mutho oyi-1 asabhadalang mos. Kusho ukuthi uwo ngabhadalanga mos sisibuti.
Yazi wesisibuti angikhumbuli wena ngikubona ukhipha imali. Ukhokha wena ungakhokheli.
You guys, you want range? You want depth? I want characters. Oh. The days of being single. Oh, I miss those days. Freedom slaps you in the face. Freedom. You go outside, you check the weather. Oh, it's a whole kind of a day. Time to go test some relationships. You just test them, you're not gonna break up anyone. Don't steal someone's man sober. Bottoms up, and let's welcome our next comedian, Seya. Oh.
Yeah, Seya. You know, I'm well traveled. I'm well learned now. There's no hat here. I know a lot of people know me with the hat. I'm changing because now I'm traveling. You know, I'm from Eastern Cape. I'm Xhosa speaking. I know a lot of people are always saying, no, I look more Zimbabwean. No, No, don't kick me out of my home. I'm Xhosa, you know, like born and raised in Eastern Cape where like it's just Xhosa people there. You speak Xhosa, your first crush is a Xhosa, you know, your first girlfriend is Xhosa, your ex is Xhosa, your dream girl is Xhosa, bruh. Like, you know, when I grew up being told that Xhosa is a language that is related to Bushmen, you know, like, because when Bushmen speak, they click. But Bushmen click more than Xhosa people do. Like, Bushmen can go, which means it's there. But Xhosa people, they can break that record. Because Xhosa people, they like to break up in public, like in a taxi rank. And normal Xhosa conversation will go something like, baby, masiqhekeke jo. Cha uyandiqhela. Le nto nathi gqina igqajukele ibhigini ndayiqoqosha ndayiquma uthi masiqhekeke. Baby bengaqondanga. Cha uyandiqhela mnqondo. A white person would be walking by thinking, wow, they are so in love. And then on the 31st of December, 12 o'clock, it's New Year. I heard fireworks going. I was like, wow, not only Xhosa is related to Bushmans, we're related to fireworks. I was like, Xhosa is global, man. Xhosa is global. But now I'm traveled. Now I stay in Joburg. You know, like, there's a lot of languages here in Joburg. Like, Tswanas, Sothos, everything. Like, a group of people, like 5 people could be talking about one thing in a conversation in 5 different other languages. These people understand each other. Yes, and no subtitles for me. It was a cultural shock. I was like, people, how do I learn your languages? How do I learn? They were like, no, Seya, you need to date a Tswana girl if you want to learn Tswana. I was like, wow, African languages are like sexual transmitted. Like, it's, you know, to learn a language must be pillow talk. So I went home and I wrote down pickup lines to approach a Tswana girl. So I'm gonna approach a Tswana girl and say, Khale ke rapela ko Modimo. Hore Modimo ang fe ngwana Motswana. O tlo nthuta Setswana. In return, na ke tlo mo nyoba. Yeah, that would work. That would work very well. Like, I've noticed if African languages are sexual transmitted, like every Nigerian guy who says Dumelang, there must be a Tswana girl behind. Like, every Nigerian guy who says Molweni, there must be a Xhosa girl behind. There was a proper pillow talk there. But man, if African languages are sexually transmitted, hey, English is hard. Like you can see the way I'm talking now. I'm struggling. English is very hard. Like, I went to a township school. They started us nice there, very nicely, with a book called Benny and Betty. Benny and Betty are going to the mountain. Benny and Betty are going to swim. Benny and Betty were always going somewhere. Benny and Betty are going to the toilet. And it hit me yesterday, like, why? Benny and Betty, why did they go to the toilet together? What were they doing there? There's no question. Like, it was so difficult. Like, we started nicely, Benny and Betty easily. And then Matric, Lady Macbeth and 3 witches. Now it became more dangerous. English became more complicated. Die out thou, thy lily livered heart. Like, yo, from Benny and Betty to this thou, yo. So difficult, bruh. But growing up in the township schools, man, you know, the English teacher at an English exam, they will give us 10 topics. You had to pick one. Where you were, it didn't matter because we all picked the same topic. Myself. Because you had to write about yourself. You can't fail writing about yourself. I wrote myself with great confidence. And then the paper came back. 2 out of 50 people. 2. Not only I failed English, I failed myself. Like, it was so devastating. Like, I was so angry. Like, I don't know myself that much. Even, like, in a township schools, like, the English teacher is the one that took her subject so serious. She was like, her subject was more important than the other subjects. Like, I remember one day she walked inside the classroom and said, class, describe yourself in 1 sentence. Like, yo, I was not ready. We were not even taught about describe. Even describe was a big word for me at that time. Yo, describe yourself in one sentence. And then the first student stood up. I am tall. You see now, in a township school, if the first guy starts with I am, we are all gonna go with I am. The other one stood up, I am 10, I am dark, I am a slender. Even the stupid ones, I am love chicken, and then they get a beating. Bah! You know? And then it went on with I am. And then there was this other girl, like, she stood up. She was the only one with the blazer in this school. Like, I've never seen the blazer. She stood up and said, I am very ambitious. People, the class teacher was so shocked, like, oh, Danam, Ultata Pelgama, thousand hug. We were not hugged. I was so angry because she didn't hug us, you know? And then she quickly changed the syllabus on us and she was like, class, describe the word ambitious. I was like, yo, I was ready to say I am very smart, you know? Not here, but clothes. I was clean, you know? And then she picked me, Seya, describe the word ambitious. I was so angry because even at home, they don't know this word. Seya, describe the word ambitious. I was like, Miss Andilaz El Gama, Miss. You're like, no, Seya, this is an English class. Speak English. I was like, no, I don't know this guy, miss. I don't know this guy at all. The class was laughing. These people were laughing at me. My confidence was down, you know. But years later, I understood the word ambitious. I can proudly say I am very ambitious right now on Comedy Central. I can say I'm proudly ambitious. And then I went back to all the schools I went to. All the schools I went to, I've seen all the teachers. All the teachers have cars, except for the English teacher. The English teacher borrows money from the Xhosa teacher. You don't be must not done. That's yo. English, I was so shocked, bruh. Even last week, when I went to a tavern in the township, I saw her former students as well. Like, we were chilling there, we were talking, you know. I don't know, like, with English, like, when we are sober, we speak Xhosa, it's nice. Hey, the moment alcohol kicks in, it's like, look here. You don't know who you're talking to. Look here. The moment people start getting drunk in the tavern, look here. Listen, I'm like, guys, I'm not employed. I'm unemployed. I need a job. See ya. Listen here. Go to my house tomorrow with your CV. I'll get you a job. I've been going to that guy's house for weeks, bruh. Never found him there. Until one day I saw him at the mall. Security guard. I was like, yo, this guy is too ambitious. More ambitious than the English teacher. CSA. That's my time. Thank you.
And now, for the aspiring actors out there, here's a quick masterclass. If you want to be heard and understood in a scene, articulate. Let's do a quick articulation exercise, shall we? She slit a sheet she slit. Upon that slitted sheet she sits. Faster. She slit a sheet she slit. Upon the sheet she sits. Nailed it. Now for a story. Once upon a time, I made the stupid mistake of falling for a guy friend. We were chilling, having fun, having a conversation when suddenly he looked at me dead in the eyes and he said, Stella, you're so cool, you're so kind. I would love and be blessed to date a woman like you. Oh, I couldn't believe it. And so I responded, date me? He said, what? With fear in his eyes. I did not let that distract me. The girl was focused. The girl was focused. The girl was focused. And so I responded, I said, but you just said you would be blessed to date a woman like me. I'm a woman like me. Be blessed. He immediately diffused the romance spark. Chief. You're my guy, man. My buddy. Can't do that thing. Take your seat, honorable member. So I took my seat. No, I didn't. I growled, "Pick me! I love you! Let's go on a date, a picnic, anything! Namayini, posayami, namayini, namayini." He's married with 4 kids now, so that's that. But I don't care. I'm in a stable relationship right now with a guy who communicates effectively, who's financially stable and considers my feelings. I just look at him and I'm just like, so is this what a prank feels like? This guy's too good to be true. He wants to satisfy me in bed. He listens to my feelings. We even communicate. I say, "Baby, try this. Baby, do that." And he takes direction well. And sometimes he even requests things. "Baby, let's try this today." Futek! You will take what you get when I have the burden of being the asshole in the relationship now. Well, I have to go. Got castings and photo shoots and stuff to attend. Be a gem and give me a tip. Don't be that guy. I need funding. Stuff to do. And see.
Thanks for watching and supporting comedy with the crisp taste of Savannah, because shops don't accept punchlines at the till.